Hello, this is Sherry. Hi, Randy.
Hi, Sherry. We're both here.
Yeah, I'm
Can
trying.
you hear me? Can you hear me okay? I have to switch to my iPhone because everything's down in my area.
Yes, I can hear you.
Great.
I'm just going to try to find our get our PowerPoint ready so when it's our time to, I can just share my screen.
Oh, okay. Man, this did not come at a good time for my internet to be going down.
Yeah.
Spectrum is down for like half the day, they say.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure it's down at the Lighthouse as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see
Hey,
you
how's
all.
it going?
Hi.
Randy, I did get your email. I'm very sympathetic to the internet issues. I live out in rural Carlton, and most days are pretty good, but it seems like with technology issues for us, when it rains, it pours. And if it's
Yeah,
not
well,
happening with
nothing like flying by the seat of your pants. I'm glad you got my partial bio okay. I thought, oh my God, I haven't even saw your email until just that moment.
Oh, no worries, no worries. We've had issues in our office with we do a number of presentations for different events, and we had one of our Marjorie Botola, who's our contact center supervisor for Senior Linkage Line. She was doing a presentation for the St. Louis County Health and Human Services Conference and completely lost everything. She ended up calling in and she did her entire presentation with someone else moving her slides from there without having, completely disconnected, and did just awesome. So I think we've all adjusted to trying to have a backup plan and then a backup to the backup plan, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know how it goes. I talk a lot to other countries and I have a podcast called Accessibility Moving Forward. And sometimes that all crashes and it's just a mess sometimes. So thanks for understanding.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Well, we're scheduled for 11 o'clock, so we'll just hang out for a while. You can feel free to chat, but otherwise, as we start getting some folks showing up, I will kind of do a couple of notes and welcomes, and then we'll usually start about a couple minutes after the hour. So.
Okay, awesome.
So Randy, then this is Sherry. You're not able then to access or kind of read along with me with the PowerPoint then, are you?
Sorry, I'm not dead, but my internet connection is.
So I will just, when we get to, when we get to the slide 9 that we're going to have you go over, or just whenever, I'll just, I'll like just briefly read over what it says, and then you can kind of take it from there, if that's okay.
What a team. All right, we'll do it.
Yes. Okay.
And what I'll do, Sherry and Randy, is I'm just going to move you guys up, just have you guys up front so that we don't, if we do run into any issues or anything like that, we'll get you guys kind of through things quicker and just in case we run into any problems on Randy's end. So.
Okay. Are we the only ones presenting today, or is there someone else too, you said?
Chloe Trolley with
Okay.
Access North.
Okay.
This is pretty awful, Sherry, because I have to actually physically go into work and no internet. So we're going to have to work on basics with our student. So that's okay, though.
Yeah. You know what, though, Randy, I'm thinking about it. They had internet at the office because the Zoom meeting did go on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, then that means I have to work harder. Doggone it.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Not to say that they'll still have it when do you go? Noon?
Yep.
12:30? something like that.
Yeah, noon. I leave here by noon.
Okay, well, if I go into the office to pick up devices, I'll probably see you.
I hope to.
Yeah.
Take this minute to just mention to you that I'm with Angels and McGregor. My name is Catherine Beatty, and our Live Well, yes, Sherry, I just talked to you recently.
Yeah.
Our entire Live Well at Home grant application this year is dedicated to seniors with disabilities. So this timing is perfect for me.
Great.
Just all types of activities that we can involve seniors who have various disabilities. So it's kind of exciting, that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
it is
and
exciting. And tomorrow is, I don't know if you guys saw the governor's proclamation, is tomorrow is Assistive Technology Day. And so, yeah, so that's, if this was tomorrow, then it would really be like, well, what a, because who would have known when this was put together that it would have been that. But yeah, so that's exciting. Assistive technology is really getting, there's more awareness out there, and there's more support too for people that are the funders of the technology to say, okay, yes, this fits and we should get this for you because it's going to increase your safety and independence. And so it's a really exciting time as an ATP to be able to see, like 10 years ago, how much we struggled with certain things, or everything seemed to be so much of a fight, like to get a device for someone or to have something pushed through. And now there's still times like recreation and leisure waivers don't want to pay for, which is really frustrating to me because it's like, it doesn't make sense, but other things seem to be going through very well, and it's all because of just education and exposure to what the devices can do and how much it can increase someone's well-being and safety. Especially,
it makes me glad I came out of retirement.
Yeah, we pulled Randy out of retirement. I don't know how many years ago, Randy.
Well, let's see, I was in retirement for 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, while we would never have wanted a pandemic, it sure has highlighted both the social isolation issue and also what a gift technology can be, especially for those who are homebound or who are in rural areas where they might not be able to access those resources otherwise. And so I think, like you said, it's exciting to see what comes out of this and what kind of new support for those initiatives comes out of this.
Yeah, we've seen, we've had a big push through our COVID funding that we have, our CCC funding that we have at this time. We've seen and we've done a big push to get tablets and hotspots out to people so they can, do their telehealth appointments or connect with family, friends, and oh boy, our heads were literally spinning with staff. We hired new staff on board just to keep up with devices that were going out and being pushed out, especially over the winter months. Things have seemed, now that I think that some people are able to be vaccinated and such, and then maybe the spring weather, although today doesn't look like spring, but spring weather, I think it's slowed down a little bit for device requests, but maybe people are able to get out and do more and everything. I just really quickly, I got to tell you, I met with a mother and a daughter, and they speak Farsi. And the son had bought the mom an iPhone years ago, and she never could figure out how to use it. And I've been working with them. Well, we did Instagram the other day with her family back in Iraq, and there was just tears flowing down her face because she saw like family members' faces, and she was able to say, like jokes and send pictures and do the different things. And it was just so exciting to be there and to see that. And she was just grabbing my arm, and like she was just so thankful and excited that she could see her cousin and I don't know, a couple of nephews. And yeah, it was really exciting.
Did you use Google Translate, or how did you communicate?
No, her daughter speaks some English. So really the daughter and I did okay together.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Mhm.
Well, you're saying you were mentioning the kind of the little bit of a downtick with the weather improving and folks getting vaccinated, but it just seems such a natural fit for our area technology as a resource because of the fact that, we can be shut down for days due to weather, or you just may have folks who are really not comfortable with venturing out in that, whether it's a severe storm or whether it's just you don't want to drive on the winter roads and things like that. And so to be able to provide those options to folks is really a blessing.
Mhm. Hi, Chloe and Amanda.
Hi. Hello.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
We've got, Randy's got issues with no internet. So he is joining us via phone right now. And so Chloe, if it's okay with you, we'll tee up Sherry and Randy to go first and then take you after that. And that way we can, I don't want to be too confident about how well our technology is going to go on Randy's end. So if we can get those guys taken care of, and then if everything holds tight, great. And if not, at least we've gotten through that part of
Okay.
Well, when it comes down to it, I just want to be first.
it.
He speaks the truth.
Well, and as folks are showing up, it's 10:57. We'll shoot to start probably about 2 minutes after. Just a couple of things. We'll do some housekeeping before we get started, but just to let everyone know that our webinar sessions are recorded, and that is for us to be able to provide this as a resource to folks who are not able to make sessions or who hear about it after the fact, or have an interest in a particular area that we're able to share those presentations with them. So.
It's 11 a.m.
As folks are joining us, we'll be starting in just a couple of minutes.
It's 11 a.m.
Hi, Brenda. Just wanted to say hi.
Morning, Kirsten.
Hi, everybody.
Kirsten is one of my colleagues with Elder Care Development Partnership staff with the Arrowhead Area Agency on Aging. Kirsten, I woke up this morning and I walked past my window and there was snow and I didn't know it was like I had walked into another place and it was not jiving with what I was expecting. So
Same here. It was not, it's bright, so the light is nice, but the cold and snow is not fun. I was surprised as well.
no, yeah.
Still there. It's still there in my yard.
Henry said, it's winter. It's winter. I'm like, no, it's spring. It's spring. There's just snow right now. All we have to have is a little bit of above freezing and it'll all melt again. So
Yeah.
well, I think that we will get started. Good morning. My name is Brenda Schaefer-Pellenin. I'm a planner with the Arrowhead Area Agency on Aging. I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for joining us for today's session on assistive technology. Before we start, just a few housekeeping items. Today's session will be recorded. I will send out a follow-up email with a link to the presentations once they've been uploaded. You'll also receive a link to a quick survey where you can give us feedback on the session and let us know what other subject areas you'd like to learn more about. Just a reminder, please keep your microphone set to mute. If you do experience any issues with on your computer with your bandwidth, just a reminder that it does help sometimes to disable your camera. If you feel comfortable, please feel free to enter your name in the chat box and your affiliation, if any, if you're with a particular organization or entity. And please, as we're going through presentations, please enter any questions that you might have during the session in the chat, and we'll take time at the end of the session to address those. A quick reminder, visit our Facebook page for more information about upcoming sessions, such as we have one coming up on May 11th on home modifications, and another one coming up on June 16th, presentation from staff from the Arrowhead Area Agency on Aging, looking at housing options for older adults, as well as financing options to help pay for some of those choices. I'd like to welcome our speakers and thank them for joining us today. Sherry Cook is the Assistive Technology Program Director at the Lighthouse Center for Vital Living. She's been working with assistive technology for more than 20 years. Joining her is Randy Rusnak, who's an adjunct technology instructor, also with the Lighthouse Center for Vital Living. Randy teaches assistive technology. He also teaches emotional support, Braille, cooking, and cleaning. And following Sherry and Randy, we'll have Chloe Trolley, who is an independent living and assistive technology specialist at Access North in Duluth. She's worked in the human services field for about 7 years now and has been at Access North for almost a year and a half. Chloe's career has been focused on helping others in many different capacities, including residential settings, employment services, and leadership development. In her role at Access North, she enjoys being able to provide individuals with the tools that they need to increase their independence and achieve their goals. Welcome to our presenters. Sherry, if you want to take over, that would be great.
Okay, we do have a PowerPoint, so I'm going to, if it's okay, share my screen. Okay, and Randy, can you guys see it? Yeah, okay. So Randy, my coworker, is having some internet difficulties today, so he's going to be here, and I'll kind of guide him in on what we're doing. But so yeah, thank you everyone. Again, I'm Sherry with the Lighthouse Center for Vital Living, and Randy, I don't know if you want to say anything about yourself at this time.
Oh, must I? Okay. This is Randy Rusnak speaking, and my bio is correct. I've been working at the Lighthouse since 2004, and I've actually been teaching internet stuff since around 1989.
Okay. All right. So we have, I don't know if you can see on here, we have a new name. It's been really exciting over at the Lighthouse. We've expanded our mission. We have a new name, a new look. We got our new signs up on our building. We have been extremely busy. Our current services over at the Lighthouse are technology training services. We have hired probably 3 or 4 new people in the last 8 months to help us with intake for new referrals coming in, technology. We have now 3 full-time and a couple part-time technology staff, just really to help with getting devices set up for me or the OTs when we need to go out into the field. And then also doing the instruction on software systems and different specialty services. We are really busy with our waivered services, going out and doing assistive technology assessments and training. We are a Minnesota Star partner, and we have a really large loan and demo library. We are actually in the middle of remodeling our AT room, and getting set up on our new website. We'll have the link for our lending library, where people can go and check out devices right within that link, and we can get them ready for them for pickup at our office. We can ship them out or drop them off. So so that'll be nice, and our new website should be rolling out here very soon. We have occupational therapy, COVID-19 help, different technology devices that we're getting out to people, information with where people can go for their vaccines and accessibility at those sites, adjustment to blindness training, and support groups, peer mentors, the radio. We have an in-office store, and so much more. So our technology training services, we will go out and do assessments and actual recommendations, device lending training, and then ongoing support. So if we bring out a device to somebody, first of all, we'll bring out a few of them, whether it's me or one of our occupational therapists, and we'll kind of go over what device is best suited for them. We'll use the SET framework where, you know, what does the consumer need? What's the environment it's going to be used in? What is the task? And what are the tools? What tools should we look at doing this? And so we'll go out and we'll do that, and we'll make sure that everything is working for that framework, and then helping them with securing funding if that's an issue, or they are not able to purchase the device on their own. We do have some funding options in different grants at the Lighthouse that we can assist with. I can look at different funding sites throughout the state, or help with writing grants for people. And the waivers also can cover for people. Once we do, even say if that person does go through a successful trial of a device, they have it for about 30 days. And then, you know, a waiver, medical insurance, or grant can cover that device for that person. We will then offer ongoing training and support. So they're never just left, you know, they're never given an iPad and then not really sure how to use it or how to make it accessible. You know, we've gotten calls, you know, I got this device for Christmas, or a friend of mine gave this to me. I've never turned it on. I don't know how to turn it on. I don't know how to use it. And so we'll actually go out and do the training, and we'll be there for them for continued support. You know, I still go out and work with people that I saw, you know, almost 2 years ago, if they have something that they need to go over or troubleshoot. We can sometimes do it over the computer, over the phone too. We do have devices set up that we can access some of the tablets and computers and laptops that we have out in the field. We can access from afar and assist people right there. So we also have a nice option too. If somebody has their own iPad, but they're looking at a different application or a different app for that iPad or tablet, we can either bring out one of ours, or we have a system where we can push that requested app onto their device. and let them borrow that for up to 30 days so they can see if it works or not for them before they go out and purchase it, or the waiver purchases it, or the school purchases it, or voc rehab, or so on and so forth. So right now with our technology services, of course, during the COVID time, we have been extending some of our technology. Usually our technology will go out for about 30 days. During COVID, if we've had environmental controls or smart home technology, like the Alexa shows, or some Zigbee hubs for lighting, those kind of things, or tablets, people can keep them for an extended period of time, just so that we can make sure that they can access family and friends, access healthcare, and so on and so forth. One thing about the devices that we are sending out at this time, especially during COVID, is we make sure that either they're LTE built in, which means the person does not necessarily have to have internet or Wi-Fi. Our devices will be shipped out with that included. And so they don't need to worry about that then, while, when they get the device from us, it is ready to work. They do not, if they do not have internet or access, we either can send out one of our devices that does through our provider, or we can send out one of our hotspots through our provider for them to use during the COVID duration, and if they're a client or consumer of ours. Anyone can access our AT lending library. Again, it's if you want to try a device out or have someone come out and bring devices for trial, you can use it for up to 30 days to see if the device works for you. And then again, you would still have supports after that, because myself, one of our OTs, occupational therapists, or one of our tech staff, or other instructors would be able to continue with supports and training. So we do a lot with computers and tablets. Right now, we're doing a lot with telehealth. We're helping people get set up with telehealth doctor visits. We are doing a lot of smart home technology and environmental control setup. We've been doing shades and power curtains, power door openers. We've been doing power kitchen sinks, anything. And what I mean by that is through Alexa, and the house can be controlled via the person's voice or communication device. And that's all it's needed. It's really, really nice. We have someone set up where it does, the whole entire house is voice activated right now. And that is really nice. We did have somebody where Meals on Wheels was trying to come, and they were not leaving during the really cold months. They weren't leaving the meals. The person couldn't get to the door fast enough. And so what we ended up doing is going in and installing and setting up a smart home lock and hub. And so the person can then activate that either through the app on her phone, the Alexa, or her voice, depending on where in the house she is located at the time. And then that way the door, she can see who's out there. She can unlock and open the door, and then close the door and lock the door again when the person leaves. So that's added independence and safety and security. We do have our AAC or communication applications that we can push out to our devices. And then we also have some lower tech to mid tech communication devices that we can set up and get out to people. We do a lot with telephone training, and that could be anything from smartphone training. We will go out, a tech staff and I will be pre-COVID, would go out to like the West Duluth Senior Center or up in Silver Bay, and my coworker would take a table of Android users and I would take the iPhone users, and we would just go over different things, whether it's how to save your photos, how to send a photo, just some basic things like that. And then we can also go through some specialized equipment for monitoring or reminder systems. my coworker and I are hooking up next week some monitoring systems on doors and windows for extra safety for a young child that the parents are worried the child's going to get outside. So we're going to go and set up some more devices throughout the home. And then coming home after crisis too, we work along with our occupational therapists, and we're able to get some devices sent out between either myself or them. Here are just a couple photos of different phones that we'll go out and assist with. We'll also refer to the TED program, the Telephone Equipment Distribution Program, as needed. That's a wonderful program. These are just some pictures of devices for smart home devices or environmental controls that we typically will go out and install. The one in the upper left corner is actually called an August lock. And that lock right there is a Wi-Fi lock, and it's fairly easy to install. It's not the best looking, but it's fairly easy to install. And that will, if you have a good connection with Wi-Fi within the house, that you can unlock and lock with your voice or the app on your phone or tablet. I talked about a little bit about different reminders or alerts. We do have these devices as well that people can borrow and see if they work for them before they buy them, or if the waiver were to cover them. Randy, I'm at slide 9. It's talking about adjustment to blindness services. I'll briefly go over a little bit of what the page says, and then Randy's going to talk, this is his thing. We're person-centered, specific training for low vision and blindness needs. We're either center-based or in home. We do technology training, we do orientation and mobility, daily living, Braille, and etc. We have a wonderful transition program, youth transition program, and low vision occupational therapy. We have a low vision support group that meets every third Tuesday of every month at 1 p.m. And what's really neat about that is the way we have our calling system set up is that the person can give us their information, and then we can call them. All they have to do is answer their phone and press 1 to be connected. So they don't have to, find the number, and we can call them and generate the call. So that's really neat. We have our peer-to-peer mentor group, which works really nice. We've had some great success stories out of that. That's where we'll set up a peer to another peer with similar background, and they become just really great friends, someone to talk to and share your experiences with. We have our store, low vision store, and other adaptive devices. And then we do a mobility training to school-age children in elementary through high school. And then Randy, I don't know what else you would like to say about that.
Oh my goodness, what a tough act to follow. Hi. There was a comment that was made that I might want to mute my mic. If I were to do that, you'd hear my screen reader, and that would interrupt Sherry, and it would have been a big mess. I use voice over technology on my iPhone, so every button that I press on my phone, every virtual button speaks. So that would have been a big interruption. I share office space with somebody because of a transitional period that she is going through. My internet's down, so I did have to check it to see if she could work. So sorry about the talking in the background, but we just have to do the best we can here. I have messages coming through, so you're going to hear them sometimes. I work entirely with voice, so there's no visual aspect to my usage of technology because I'm totally blind myself. Well, let's see. Oh, there's so much to talk about. I'm going to try to shorten as much as I can, but we have a youth transition program that we teach kids from anywhere from 13 to college age, which really has nothing to do with older folk. But that's just some of the things that we do. Isolation is a big part of what we strive for in our program. We hook up like echo shows, and for people that have low vision, you can literally take an object like a can of soup or a box of something with directions on it, hold it up in front of the echo show, which, by the way, the new versions actually turn when you want to bring something in focus, so you don't have that focus issue as much as you normally would. And that device can identify things for people. Unfortunately, directions aren't really available for that stuff yet because this is just it's called Show Me. And it's not developed to the point yet where it can give directions, but it's coming. We use FaceTime a lot with communications with seniors. The one of the big things that seniors, I really hate to use that word because ever since I was a teenager, they talked about senior living and stuff. And I was 18 and now I'm 68. And so I fall into that category. But the reason I mention this is because I work with people that are, let's say, from 13 to over 90. And last week I had an individual who was actually talking about learning how to read again because she has macular degeneration. And I spoke with her and her son probably for 2 hours, convincing them that the reading days were not over. I told her about this application called BARD, and BARD, and she can read with her iPad with a special state player as well to read books and newspapers and all kinds of things. And she started to cry when I told her all this information. She said, "Thank God I got the right person and the right department," because she thought her reading days were all over with. To bring that kind of knowledge to people is just awe-inspiring, you know what I mean? So there's that. Oh my gosh, there's so much to learn, and I have to keep up with this stuff every day to keep ahead of the technology game. We teach people how to use TVs again. People think that they can't watch TV when they have lost their sight or if they are low vision. So I recommend TVs that actually speak, smart TVs like the Amazon Fire TV, I recommend. And that's just touching on the surface. We have voice description. Description on Netflix is just really something else to behold if you have never heard a described movie. Go into your device sometime and turn on audio description and see what kind of information you get. It's just awe-inspiring. If you guys have any questions, you can either put up your hand or write them in the comments and somebody will read them. As I say, I'm a voiceover user, which is a built-in screen reader on your iPhone. I won't be able to hear them because my internet connection is down. So if anybody has any questions, just feel free to ask whenever the presentation is done. And that's about it. I know it's kind of short, but there's much more stuff to talk about.
Thank you, Randy. This is Sherry. Does anyone have any questions yet at this time? Okay, so I'll just keep going on here. These are just some photos of some lower tech devices that we have in our lending library that people can use. If they're have some vision loss, there's the knives with the guards on them. There's adaptive keyboards cutting boards that have, pivoting knives or different things on them, so you don't have to worry about where knife placement is. The knife pivots along the cutting board. The liquid fill for the cups. There's different types of read out loud medication. You can use the show and tell feature. Actually works really well with the Echo Show, but if you don't have that, there's different ones that you can use where we'll read. If you set it on there, it will read your pill box. Some pharmacies do have that available. Not all of them, however. There's like if you need to check your the temperature of your meat, we do have speaking thermometers. And then there's a picture of a woman in the middle upper row, and it's showing a woman putting on her lipstick or lip gloss. And what she's doing is she's using a type of a CCC TV device where she's able then to, it's able to magnify using the camera, you can see up above, is able to magnify so she can see to put her lipstick on. And we have, you know, again, whether it would be me going out, one of our occupational therapists, they're the only 2 occupational therapists, I believe, in the state or even the surrounding area that specialize in low vision. And then we do have our orientation mobility trainers that can also go out, and I've worked with one of our orientation mobility trainers, Haley, on getting a woman so she can sew again. The woman loved sewing, and with her vision loss, it was really hard for her to do that. And we were able to go out and make some marks on her sewing machine so she would know where to start. We were able to get some different needles for her that were self-threading, and she's back up and sewing again. We work a lot with waivered services. That's my area. The OTs, occupational therapists, do a little bit with that, but that is where, again, we can go out and do the assessments in home, in the work area, or in like a residential setting, like a group home setting. We can go out and do assessments for different devices, controls, or medical appliances or supplies. We can then, in return, if we go out and do the assessment, and the assessment, whatever we find was successful, again, using that set framework, we then can put everything together, get that to the county case manager or the care coordinator, whoever is working with them, and then we can order the devices, get the devices in, get them to the consumer or the client, do the setup if needed, do the training, and then be there for supports in the future if they need any kind of troubleshooting. So it's kind of nice because we can be that one-stop shop where somebody can get exactly what they need, what works for them. There are a lot of different devices out there. However, not all devices work for everybody. So Elma may live next door to Gertrude and see that she has this wonderful tablet and she uses it great, but Elma might not be, for whatever reason, it doesn't work for her. But she may have already went and bought one or borrowed one from somewhere else because she thought, well, this is what she had and it worked for her. But that's not always the case. It's not a one size fits all. All devices are different for everybody on how they need to be accessed and how they need to be set up and how they need to be trained on. So that's what's really important about making sure that they get the right device, especially if you're going into a house or you're doing anything with like a shower chair or a grab bar, anything like that. If it's not set up right for that person, then there could be an injury that could be involved. And so you just really want to make sure that people get exactly what they should have, whether it's an assessment of somebody going out to taking a look, whether that's a ATP or an occupational therapist or a physical therapist, that would be really the best to make sure that the evaluation is done correctly. So this just waiver service continued. It just goes over we can go out and do home evaluations to tell, make suggestions and work with the person on what kind of home modifications do they feel they need, and then provide those recommendations, and then family training and counseling. So right now we're doing, we have a new exciting program, Tech for Healthy Aging. And so we actually are covering the whole state with this. And right now it's a 20-month pilot program, and we have teamed up with Tech for Home or Live Life Solutions, our Sue Rennepenning and her team. And so we are extremely happy to be working with Sue and her team. And really somebody needs to have a disability in order to qualify for this and be 60 plus. It's funded through the Department of Human Services, and it's part of the Live Well at Home grant. And so with partnering with them, again, we are able to cover the whole state. So if we have a referral that comes in from the Rochester area, of course, Live Life Therapy Solutions will take that. And if it's something up in this area or up maybe in Cook County or Lake County, then that's something that we can take, but we can also work together. So it's been an amazing program. We've been really busy with it. And it's been amazing to work with Sue and her team. And they've given us some amazing training, and we've given them some great training on the low vision and the blindness side of it that they didn't have before. So it's the Tech for Healthy Aging is just really important. It's really to improve safety and accessibility within people's senior age homes. And the picture that is shown here is a woman sitting at a table looking at a tablet, and she is a Finnish, and she is able to read her Finnish books again, and things that she wasn't able to do for so long. I believe she was actually on one of our news stories, and she just is so excited to be able to read again. One of our occupational therapists worked with her on getting that tablet and getting it set up for her so she can read her Finnish books again. So the program addresses challenges. We're person-centered, not one size fits all. True assistive technology experts, and we have a wonderful team. We're very blessed to have a large, great team that we have. This is a little blurb on our occupational therapy. It does require a doctor's referral, can address any disability area or issue, not just vision loss. Right now, they're working with the hybrid model of doing a lot of telehealth, but we're also doing in-home services if needed. So a lot of what we've been doing with that hybrid model is doing our intake process via whether it be Zoom or Teams or Google Meets or just over the phone. And then if there's any device training or setup, then we'll go out to their home and do that. And of course, if there's any assessment needed too. And we serve all of northern Minnesota and then nearby Wisconsin. We will too go out of the northern Minnesota area. We do have some individuals that we'll see down towards the metro area if needed. So some examples, they do environmental assessments and recommendation, daily living, task training like cooking, chores, recreational, strengthening balance and other health issues, computer, phone, tablet accessibility. So if you have any questions, here is my email and also Randy's email, and you can certainly reach out. How to make a referral for OT or general services. There's a form right on our website that you can make a referral. We have a direct line for our intake specialist. And then if it's anything for waivered services or really specific for assistive technology assessment or services or even a trial, you can connect with me and there's my direct contact information. Does anyone have any questions at this time? I just really want to stress that our assistive technology loan and demo program is a free program. I like to compare it to a library where you can borrow the device for up to 30 days or longer if needed on certain things. And we'll make sure that you get the training and support that you need along with that device. We do have some open-ended device loans as well, where somebody can borrow the device until they no longer need it. We do have some, it changes all the time of what's in that program. It might be like a CCTV, like we saw that woman helping, to put that lipstick on. It might be an older iPad that we can put an app to. And those open-ended programs are really for somebody that needs a device of that type and has no other means of getting it. So it would be a used device, but in good working condition. And again, that program, those devices do change very often. But again, you can connect with me if you have any questions in regards to that, or you can make a general referral with the information shown on the screen as well. And with that, I will stop sharing my screen. And I see we have, anyway, if anyone has any questions, please reach out to either myself, Sherry, or Randy at the Lighthouse, and we can see what we can do to help you. And I really thank you guys for all listening and to what we have to say.
It's been a real pleasure to be on with you guys, by the way.
Thank you so much, Sherry and Randy. That's such great information, and I really love you have such a multidisciplinary kind of wraparound approach where, you know, if, like you said, it's not everything works for everyone, and your commitment to finding the right answer to each individual's needs is really pretty great. So thank you again. We've got, let me pull it up here. All right, so Chloe, if you want to take over from here, that would be just great.
Okay. I have a PowerPoint as well, so I will share this. Okay, can you all see that? Okay. Perfect. Okay, so like Brenda said, thank you so much, Brenda, by the way. I am Chloe Trolley. I am the Independent Living and AT Specialist here at Access North in Duluth, and actually I'm filling in Sherry's shoes. She used to be here in this position, or kind of half this position, so big boots to fill because she is awesome. But anyway, so thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here and just share this awesome program that we have. And I feel like the word doesn't get out as much for this, for our AT program. So I think I'm super excited to share, and hopefully we can spread the word and help as many people in this region that we can. So to start out, I'll just talk about Access North. We are a center for independent living, specifically of the northeastern Minnesota area. We have offices in Hibbing. I'm in Duluth. We have offices in Brainerd, Aiken, and Walker. And we serve counties of Aiken, Carleton, Cass, Cook, Crow Wing, Itasca, Coaching, Lake Pine, and St. Louis. And CILs, our Center for Independent Livings, are located throughout the U.S. And we have 8 total locations in Minnesota. And our mission here at Access North is to assist individuals with disabilities to live independently, pursue meaningful goals, and have the same opportunities as all people. So to achieve that goal, we have 5 core services, including independent living skills, which is kind of my focus area, advocacy, information and referral, peer and group support, and transition to community. And then beyond those 5, we also have several different additional services. The RAMP project, which, as Brenda noted, there's a May webinar coming up, and Jason, our home access coordinator, will be presenting on that and the home accessibility, a little more into that home modification stuff as well that we provide. We also have PCA choice, homemaking and respite care, relocation service coordination, which kind of includes assisting people with applying for housing, any HRA services we can assist them with, and finding services once they move and things like that, finding moving resources as well. So we also provide support planner services for consumer-directed community support plans, waivered services, which includes some independent living coaching and home and community-based services. AccessNorth.net is a great resource as well. They, at that website, they just have, there's so many resources and links to dig through. So if you're looking for kind of a quick answer, you might be able to find it on there. If not, all of our contact information is there as well, so you can give us a call. And of course, assistive technology and home accessibility, which I'll be talking about today. Computer classes and computer labs. Right now with COVID, we are currently closed and the computer classes aren't happening, but we're hoping with hopefully things getting back to normal, we'll be able to provide this again soon. We also have a partnership with vocational rehab, and we do things like independent living assessments and skills training and driver's license practice with voc rehab. really anything that they refer us to, we can provide. And with the driver's license written test assistance, we can provide that to anyone. They don't necessarily have to be sent by voc rehab. And public education, we just, anyone who has questions about anything related to disability or aging or anything, they can give us a call and we can hopefully find an answer for them, or provide a resource to them to find the answer. And we are also a COVID-19 community coordinator through the Department of Health. So we can answer anything COVID related, where to go find a vaccine, how to sign up, how to get tested, or any, if they're having questions about vaccines and don't know really where to ask, they can give us a call. So we can jump into assistive technology, or AT. As many of you probably know, assistive technology is a device or service that improves the ability of people to maintain or improve their independence in performing daily living activities. If someone, typically people come to me knowing exactly what they need, or maybe not necessarily the equipment, but what they need help with. And sometimes they're just like, I just need help, I don't know what it is. And in that case, we can do a assistive technology assessment, which Sherry talked a little bit about, using that set framework. So the consumer, environment, task, and tool, looking at all of those things and helping determine the type of technology that might be beneficial to that person. And sometimes it's just having a discussion with the person, and sometimes it's kind of just viewing how they go about their day at their whatever environment that they're in, that they need the assistance, and kind of making the suggestion at that point. And generally there are two types, which Sherry also kind of touched on, low tech and high tech. Low tech is obviously not very complex. They're low in cost, based on universal design principles, and are usually available to the general public. So things like a shoehorn is the first thing that comes to my mind. You can find those at Walgreens, and they're easy to get and cheap. So then there's high tech, which tends to be more specialized and focused on a person's need, higher in cost, and may require some extra training as well. So with our with assistive technology, there are funding options, and again, Sherry talked a little bit about this. So we have the MA and medical waiver programs, which for MA you have to be medically necessary. The device has to be medically necessary in order to fund it. The waiver programs, it just depends. So looking into that is important. School districts, there has to be an assessment done, and it has to be written into the student's IEP. And then vocational rehab, it has to focus on a vocational goal, and has to be part of that rehabilitation service as well. Private insurance varies. It needs to be authorized ahead of time, and you just have to check with your insurance and see if it is covered or not. And of course, out-of-pocket purchases is always something you can do. It's easier, like I said, with the shoehorn, that's maybe $5, but if it comes to a speaking device, the person needs a speaking device, that's going to be more expensive, and so it's a little difficult for that. So that's why there are some grants available, which are awesome. We have the Live Well at Home grant, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And we have grants kind of fluctuating throughout the year. And right now, the Live Well at Home is the one we have, but sometimes there are other options. So, it varies. So just give us a call and see if we have any funding available. And Sherry had mentioned this too. She likes to search grants out, and I do the same. So if I can help someone find funding for this, I will certainly do that. And waivers as well can pay for it depending on the person. Alternatively, they can access our lending library, the STAR program, which is Minnesota, covers all of Minnesota. They can loan out devices as well. And there's other nonprofits and things just like Lighthouse, who have a lending library that can loan out those devices as well. So I will talk about our lending library as well. So here's a small picture of one corner of our room, but it is very large. We have a wide array of devices. to help individuals live more independently. Devices are available for trials, long-term or short-term loans. We do usually 30 to 60-day loans, but depending on the item, if it's not necessarily being asked for often, I can usually let them take it longer, or if we have multiple devices of the same device, then I can let them keep that as well for longer. And open-ended loans, I'll talk about Live Well at Home, which provides items at no cost with an open-ended loan. So it's just theirs until they don't need it anymore. So that's really nice as well. And sometimes it comes in handy for if someone's waiting for insurance to cover a device and they're just waiting for the order to come in. Sometimes that can be a very long time that they're waiting and they need the device now to be more independent. So sometimes we can fill that gap, which is really nice. So the process is started. Anyone with a disability can come to us and borrow an item at no cost. They can get started with just some intake paperwork. Usually it's a phone call to me and we kind of talk about what's needed a little bit, and then we talk about moving forward and doing that intake paperwork and becoming a consumer of Access North. And then beyond that, we can kind of talk about other things that might be needed as well and talk about our other services. But then we'll have a discussion about their needs for assistive technology, or do an AT assessment if it's necessary and recommend some devices. And then if we have it in our lending library, obviously we will loan that out to them right away. Otherwise, if we need to shop for something or work on funding, then we'll kind of go through that process as well. Our appointments right now can be done at our offices by appointment. We are closed to the public. Usually people kind of walk in and out whenever in non-pandemic life, but with the pandemic, we are open 12 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. So our receptionist is here during those times. So if there's a time we can set up to make an appointment, she can open the doors, and then I can meet with you and discuss. Otherwise, if someone's comfortable, we can do a home visit. And of course, we'll be using the proper PPE, masks, gloves, hand sanitizer, and doing social distancing as well. So, but if they're not comfortable with meeting in person, that's totally fine. We totally understand. We can do a phone or Zoom meeting depending on the individual's preference and technology availability. So once we have a device ready for them, there are a few ways we can do it. They can just come and pick it up at our office, and if I know a time, I can just let our receptionist know that they're coming in and picking that up, and they'll have a paper to sign. Otherwise, with COVID-19, we've been kind of doing contact lists, so I can send them the forms in one way or another, and then just drop something off on their porch or whatever is most convenient for them. And sometimes that's just how it works based on schedules because we can't find a time to do the pickup or drop off. And then one more thing about this is with COVID-19, kind of up the ante with our cleaning process. So we start out with for things that can be sprayed down, we just spray a hydrogen peroxide on it and let it sit overnight, disinfect, and then again follow up that with another disinfecting spray or bleach if it's available and can go on the device. And then once it's going out to another individual, we will sanitize that again. So just so people are aware, especially because some of these items can be personal, we want to make sure that they're very, very clean before they go out to another person. So here are a couple pictures of our devices. So the phone, we have a clear sounds amplified phone. We have a couple of these, and you can see the numbers are very large as well. So, it helps with hearing loss and vision loss as well. There is caller ID as well on that. There is a speaking measuring cup, a very large remote control. We have a few different versions of remote controls, so there are options. A voice amplifier, a nice grab and pour super low tech device. You just kind of put that around, like say a pop bottle, and it just makes it super easy to pour with one hand. A little light up magnifying glass, a handy bar, which is kind of nice. You can keep it in your car, and it kind of latches onto one of the pieces on this inside of the door, and so it's kind of like an extra lever to push down to get yourself out of the car, which is super nice. A jar opener, automated, so you just press a button. Little bump dots that can kind of can be put anywhere. They're just sticky. So if someone, say they're looking for the knob on the oven, they can put the bump dot there to make sure that they're putting their hand in the correct place. And then here's a little grip wrench as well. So it just makes it easier to turn things, and specifically tools. So that's super helpful. And then over here we have a few more. So this is a hair drying stand, a couple of sock aids, and med organizers. Here's the shoehorn. This is a little toenail or fingernail clipper that's on a little pedestal, and it sticks to the table, so it won't move, and it's just kind of a one-handed thing. And then a zipper and button pull. So kind of some of our low-tech things. We have a few other things as well. We have kitchen utensils, cutlery, appliances like automated choppers, heat and plug grips, so it's easier to kind of pull those items or hold those items. Utensil grips, pen and pencil grips, more dressing aids, hygiene tools, a bunch of low vision items, large number telephones, large timer. The list goes on and on. We have, I believe it's almost 500 items in our lending library. Of course, that includes like these little bump dots. So it's still a very full room. So you can give me a call and we will kind of discuss what the need is and see if we have it. I can dig through and see what we have. And then we have plenty of wheelchairs and walkers as well. We have this rollator kind, as well as kind of the taller foldable metal versions without the wheels, and lots of canes, a couple of scooters for if someone gets like a broken leg or something, and then a shower bench and a shower chair. We have lots of shower benches, and just a bunch of different stuff like cushions and for kids and students we have lots of toys and switch automated toys. So it's kind of a very, like I said, a wide array. So with that, I will talk about the Live Well at Home grant program. So you might already know that the Live Well at Home grant, the goal is to just assess people's isolation and their safety and allow them to live independently at home and in their community of choice for as long as they can. And through this, we are able to provide different home access modifications like ramps and low-rise stairs and tub cuts and grab bars and things like that in the home, which Jason will touch on in the May webinar. And then we can also provide assistive technology devices to improve and support those adults to remain safely in their home and community. So when we work with someone through the Live Well at Home grant, we like to customize each project. So it's really based on that person's need. So sometimes they might come to us for a ramp, and then as we're doing that intake, we'll talk about other things that might be able to help them, like if they're struggling with, getting around in their home or not feeling safe in their home, then we can kind of address that through assistive technology and see what else we can provide for them. Similar to the lending library process, it starts with the paperwork and that discussion, that short discussion, and then turns into we have like a meeting with them and really dig into what they're needing. And the Live Well at Home application does include a rapid screen survey, which assesses their level of risk as to be relocated. And we do that before, so at the time that the application is filled out, and then after, maybe a few months after the modification or assistive technology is provided to them so that we can kind of judge if it's working, if it benefited them, if they need any other things like that. And then, like Sherry said, they like to provide the support. We do as well. We don't want to leave people high and dry, especially if this is a brand new technology for the person. We want to make sure that we're setting it up correctly and training them correctly, and then just being a support for them if in the future if something comes up and they need our help. Sometimes the person will just say, "Oh, my son, he'll be able to do it," or "My daughter will," and so they do it. And if they're more comfortable with that, that's totally fine with us. We can still be that point of contact for support if needed. So here's a few examples of some of the assistive technology that we like to focus on for the Live Well at Home. The goal is to address social isolation, environmental controls, and enhance safety by providing these solutions. And they're generally simple solutions, right? So once they're installed, they're pretty easy to use. So the training is not too intricate. And sometimes it comes up again later where they can't figure out how to do something, and that happens to me as well. So we like to provide that training. So when we're looking at this, we want to focus on that social isolation, environmental controls, and safety. We often have devices that kind of separately address these items, and then they work together to do even more or just make it that much easier for a person. So an iPad and tablet can help with social isolation by FaceTiming their family and friends. But it can also act as a form of enjoyment, when they're stuck at home, especially now with COVID. They can do crosswords or watch the news or YouTube or read a book or anything like that. And I especially love the iPad just because it's the accessibility options are so great with the speaking and reading aloud and things like that. So it's a super helpful device, especially if someone has vision loss. And we can connect that to, one of the Echo shows, and that's how you can control those things, or the Ring doorbell, and it can ring right to the iPad if you wanted to. There's just great collaboration between these devices that can really help a person out. And paired also with, if you have an Echo show, you can pull up the Ring doorbell on that, or the light bulbs and the outlets, you can control those through the Alexa, and it just makes life super easy. And something that might be kind of a struggle for a person might be way easier once these items are installed. And it's super fun to watch someone's tech abilities increase so much in just a few short hours. So some examples, we have Jackie, who called needing assistance with answering her front door. So she uses a power chair and often is sitting in her recliner. And when someone knocks on the door, and she told me she just yells to have them come in the door, so she doesn't have to get out of her chair and then get into her power chair and then drive over to the door and let them in. So she wanted something a little easier and quicker and less yelling. So we provided her with a Google Home Hub, and this was actually through our Blindness grant, which we were able to get some great technology devices for individuals in the Hibbing area with that grant, and it was super fun as well. And then with a Live Well at Home, we were able to do another Google Home Hub and then an Arlo video doorbell as well, so that she is able to monitor her front door. She can feel secure. She can turn on lights using the Google Home Hub. She had trouble getting to the light once it was dark outside in her bedroom. It was a really dark hallway and she wasn't able to see, so she can use Google to turn that on before she enters the room and feel a little safer when she's walking down in case she runs anything over. So she can access the news as well. She loves watching the CNN stuff, so that is perfect for her. And checking on the weather, and she actually told me this last week that she had called a friend who moved to Florida using Google Duo. So that was super exciting as well. So she came for one thing we discussed other options, and then, you know, she was able to do so many things to help her out. And Audrey, she called for a phone due to frustration with struggling to hear and have successful conversations. And she was even kind of missing out on, she's involved in the church, and she was missing out on those calls and not able to hear exactly what was needed. So she was feeling super frustrated. So we were able to sit down and just pick out a specific phone for her and get that ordered. And something that exactly what she wanted. She got an answering phone and 2 handsets. So if she's in one room, she can still get the phone and be able to hear that person. And then as we were talking, we talked about a handheld magnifier. So we were able to get that as well for her because she also has macular degeneration. And Barb, who Sherry, I think, set her up with her first round of Amazon Echo shows. So she had already been using these items and really benefited from them, and came to us for a railing. And then as we were talking, she told me that her Echo was not working well. And so we ordered one of those as well, a new one, so that she could use those environmental controls again. And she was able to get her railing fixed as well. So she is feeling more secure and safe in her home as well. And Sue, so she came for grab bars and adjustable shower heads. We were able to get those bathroom fixes, and then as we were talking, she talked about the Ring doorbell and kind of a similar story. As Sherry told, she wasn't able to get to the door quick enough, so I thought a Ring doorbell would be perfect with one of those Echo shows, so that she could chat with the person via the Echo. And just see who's there if she even needs to bother opening the door. And also some bulbs and plugs. She has some mobility issues, and so being able to see and turn on lights upstairs before she goes up there is a perfect solution for her. So she feels more secure and like her home is easier to access now. So if there are any questions, or if you know of any person who can benefit from assistive technology, or the Live Well at Home grant, or any services that we provide, feel free to reach me either by email or phone. This isn't a direct line, so you do need to ask for Chloe, but you can give that a call anytime, and I can help you or find someone who can help you.
Great. Thank you so much, Chloe. We did have one question from an attendee just asking about, the typical budget for a client, and is there a maximum, and are there opportunities for, potentially fulfilling a client's needs by maybe accessing multiple sources of funding?
Definitely. So typically, I believe, and Jason will probably talk more about the ramp specifically, but typically for the AT, I believe it's like 1,000, and we never generally go well over that. But if it does, then we can discuss at that point, different funding options. So either setting up a payment plan through us, or finding a waiver payments or something, another option for them to provide that.
Great. Anyone else have any questions for our presenters or any comments? Well, I just want to say thank you so much to Chloe and to Randy and Sherry for joining us today and sharing all of the information with us about the programs from each of their organizations. And just a quick reminder that, again, visit our Facebook page for more information about those upcoming sessions, like the one that Chloe mentioned on home modifications. And then also we have one on housing options for older adults, the continuum of options for folks. I want to thank everyone, all of our attendees, for joining us today. We will have been recording the session, so we will be sending you out an email with a link to that recording, as well as a survey on to where you can give us feedback on the session and let us know what other areas you might want to learn more about. Everyone has looks like the snow is melting a little bit here, so I think we're moving closer to spring again. Wanted to thank everyone for joining us today and hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you so much.